Welcome to the Warning Track Power Hour. I am Dr. Andrew Scaff. He is Dr. Michael Werman, Esquire. On today's show, we'll be talking about the NCAA tournaments and checking in on our brackets and which methodologies did best in this tournament. We'll also be talking about the Kansas City Royals. And for the second week in a row, we really don't have any Chiefs news aside some sort of really minor oddball stories that I don't think either of us spend much time thinking about. So I think we're going to jump right ahead into the Kansas City Royals season. Like right now, they're sitting at 5-6 on the air. So they dropped a game late today against Cleveland, and like kind of frigid weather early season going here. Uh, Mike, is there cause for concern here for the Royals at 5-6, or is this just early season baseball? Nothing to worry about. See what
I
happens.
I think it's mainly early season baseball, nothing to worry about, see what happens. Although there's maybe a couple, again, for the most part, the pitching has been pretty good. The
Especially
bats
starting pitching, right?
pitching has been really good. Relief pitching has been good, except in a couple spots here and there.
Yeah,
Um, Starting pitching has been really good, except for the Luinder Avila
yeah,
start. That was he was brought up just as a doubleheader um, guy, basically to start one of the games in the doubleheader.
yeah.
Uh,
Well, it's sort
uh,
of a fill-in. I think Waka wasn't feeling well or something, so I think his start got pushed,
yeah, maybe
and
that
then
maybe
and
that's what it
then
was.
and then the doubleheader thing happened like at the same time, so it just worked out
Yeah,
to it fit in that way.
yeah. So yeah, the Royals have had they're 5-6. Hopefully if they win against Cleveland tomorrow, they'll be 500 and within half a game of the division lead. It seems like most of the teams have kind of bunched together, so the Royals aren't out of it yet. They aren't like 1-10 or something like that. So
Right.
um, and none of the other division teams have really run away with things yet. So that's good. And you think the Royals are going to heat up? I don't think Bobby Witt Jr. has an extra base hit yet. I don't.
He's not.
Uh, I Pasquantino hasn't really done much. Um, Jason Isbell has been the best offensive player for the Royals so far. Um,
He's hitting over
and
400 so far.
yeah, and
He
Carter
did have
Jensen.
he did have his hitting streak snapped today. He was on base twice. He drew two walks. He only had three plate appearances.
Yeah, the Royals only had one hit, and that was Carter Jensen's home run. And
Yeah.
he's done pretty well since he overslept. That was probably the big story
Yeah.
of the Royals this last week. Uh, I'm on a lot of Seinfeld web groups on Facebook, and lots of people posted uh, the oversleeping
Yes.
Carter Jensen to be similar to Jean Paul, the Trinidadian in toboggan uh, runner that Jerry and Elaine hosted that overslept at the Barcelona marathon, and then they
Yes.
make sure that he was awake. Do you remember what the cause of the oversleep was on Seinfeld?
Was he supposed to get a like a wake up call that never came through? Was that
There
or was
was a
that
wake
something
up.
else?
There was supposed to be a wake up call, but that was what something that Jerry ended up worrying about the wake up call because they ended up going to a hotel and Jerry thought he irritated the wake up call guy and the wake up call guy
Mm.
might not call him back, so he ended up going to sleep back at Jerry's apartment. And Kramer was supposed to be a um, a last ditch wake up call with his mental alarm, but Kramer shorted out um, the electricity in Jerry's building with his hot tub that he was uh, running at all hours of the night, and
Yes.
that's what. Anyway, so but they almost so Jerry ended up waking John Paul just in time to make the race, but uh, almost again it failed. But the original reason that it failed is because his alarm clock, there was a malfunction with his alarm clock. There was a separate knob that dictated the volume of the radio alarm that he did not know about, and it was down too low apparently. Um, Most people thought it was either the AM PM or they hit the snooze and didn't come back on, something like that. But it was the separate knob for the radio alarm. Um,
Hmm.
Jean Paul. So I wonder what the cause of the missed alarm clock for Carter Jensen's woes. Um,
Well,
AM PM issue or a um, you know snooze that he maybe I know I hit the snooze a lot when I my alarm clock.
I guess
Um,
he had made some comment, I guess, like early, maybe even in spring training, that it takes many alarms for him to wake him up in the morning
hmm.
normally. So there was, so we like, I guess we in the Royals already knew that it could be an issue, but
Hmm.
uh, apparently he was late enough that he was not able to prepare, so they benched him for one game
Yeah, he did not play in the uh, one of the afternoon games. Was it
last
the
week, I think, right?
was it the first game of the doubleheader that he missed, or was he no he missed
I think
an after maybe it was an afternoon game against the Twins. I think he missed.
maybe that's what it was. Yeah, that sounds right.
Yeah,
Like,
fire. Yeah. Thursday. It was the game last Thursday.
okay. But yeah,
Thursday.
he's hit a couple of home runs since then, and seems like he's performed well since taking his punishment.
Yeah, yeah. So hopefully he learns from that. I guess he was there on time for the Royals game. I don't think he missed the game entirely. I think he just missed warm-ups or something like that. So he was.
Yeah, they said it was too late for him to be prepared for the game, so I don't know if that's like a, something that they just want to make sure doesn't happen
Mhm.
regularly
I
by
know that
putting
they
some
announced
consequences involved.
yeah, and they announced the starting lineups in the games much earlier than they used to, is what I heard on the radio. I heard on the broadcast. Ryan Lefevre said so. Maybe that's also a reason that it became notable that he was scratched and taken off because he was announced as a starter hours ahead of time. Um,
Oh,
so sometimes I guess traditionally the lineups weren't made until, almost maybe right before the exchange of lineups at the beginning of the game. But nowadays, um, the lineups go out much earlier through social media and stuff like that, so we know who's going to start the games, and
right,
maybe it's for gambling interests and things like that too.
probably.
Um,
Yeah, so what do you make of the Royals lineup so far though? There are several players in a row that aren't hitting so well. Would you consider shuffling the lineup a bit with this kind of slow start from their kind of middle of the lineup? There are more guys that they traditionally rely on.
well,
What?
it's hard to say. It seems like the lower part of the lineup with Isbell has been playing pretty well. The
Mm,
top of the lineup has been okay with Garcia and Witt and so I don't know if you break it up or not. Pasquantino,
yeah,
he seems to start slow a lot. So he's just started slow and
he was
um
pretty good in the World Baseball Classic, but he hasn't done much since he's
yeah.
been back.
Yeah,
The temps have been colder, so maybe he's just not a
cold weather player.
cold weather
Yeah,
player at all. Yeah,
Yeah. Caglione has played okay at times.
he's pretty good. Yeah,
Jensen's got some bright spots. So it seems like all the Royals, other than maybe some of the new guys they brought in, like Lane Thomas and um,
we had a
Starling
pretty bad
Marte.
game on the weekend,
Yeah,
defensively and offensively at the same time, which isn't a great sign.
yeah.
Starling Marte has played
He hasn't played very
reas
much.
reasonably okay in his limited appearances, but
Yeah.
Isaac Collins has had a couple of good games. Had at least one home run. He had a home run on opening day for the Royals home opener
Hmm.
in the game that I went to.
Yeah. Yeah, so
So
it seems like the Royals haven't played. They just haven't scored a lot of runs. They've scored a lot of. They scored quite a number of runs in a couple of games. They scored 8-1. And I think they scored 13 against the Twins that one game.
right.
Rainy game. But they haven't been able to score a lot of runs in the other games. They had to scrap out low-scoring wins, or they've lost kind of low-scoring games, even though the pitching has been pretty good. So they just
Yeah.
need to be able to. They just need to group the runs together well. And I don't know if it's time to reshuffle the lineup yet. It seems a little early, and they're
Yeah.
still they're around 500. So if they were 1-10, maybe it would be time to do that. But at this point, I think just keep going and see what happens.
You're not panicking yet.
No panic at this point. No,
No, shouldn't be.
no, it's just early season baseball. This is just the fourth series at this point.
Yeah. And they have had a couple of really weird weather games too, which, can have an effect. They're not really seasoned into that dealing with the elements quite yet, but you'd like to see them win a couple of these close games rather than, you know, having all the games decided by one run and late without your traditional closer being there.
Yeah,
Since because I think they did ended up putting Estevez on the injured list.
the bruised foot. Yeah.
Yeah, and possibly something to do with his arm as well because his velocity has been down. So
Yeah, yeah.
the foot is the thing that was obvious, I think, but hopefully they're hoping to see some kind of improvement with the arm as well with the time off.
Mhm. Yeah, you think I don't know, you want in some ways you think that Urseg though is probably a better reliever than Estevez is anyway. So you know how much it really hurts to have somebody else as the closer, but Estevez
Yeah,
did lead the league in saves last year, so he's a
yeah,
solid player. Maybe it's a little bit like when Greg Holland was the closer and Wade Davis was the setup man. Holland was really
Mhm.
good. Wade Davis was even better um,
Yeah.
when the Royals were in their glory years.
Right.
The
Well, then they had Kelvin Herrera there too, who was also
Mhm.
ended up being a very good closer too after
Yeah.
Davis and Holland had moved on to
Mhm.
other teams. So yeah,
Yeah.
they had essentially three closers in a row. Pretty decent
And other great
way to
really
set up a bullpen.
and other great relievers. That was when they had the best, the best bullpen for 2 or 3 years
Yeah,
in a row.
yeah. Well, and one of the players they just reacquired, Matt Strom, was part of that bullpen in
In the later years.
2014. 2014,
Which one?
2015, 2016. No, it was 2015. Yeah.
I think 2016, that's when he made his debut.
Was it after that? Okay, I thought it was during that era.
I'm gonna look him up here.
Maybe it was just after that era.
Yeah, he went to the majors in 2016.
Oh, okay.
He was added to the 40-man roster in 2015 to protect him from the Rule 5 draft, but he was promoted to the majors on July 31st, 2016 when Wade Davis went on the disabled list.
Mm.
Um,
I mean, if he's a Rule 5 pick, he has to be in the majors immediately.
that was to keep him from being so he's on the 40-man roster. So they put him on the 40-man roster. So they
Yeah.
so they kept him from being snatched up in 2015.
Yeah, I mean, I think they have to be on the major league roster though, not just the 40 man when you get picked in the Rule 5. Because if you
Yeah,
if
but
you if you send them back
they
down, then they
you can't pick them from, but if they're on the 40, they aren't eligible to be
oh
picked
yeah, yeah, yeah. Oh,
if
so they were worried about him being
taken. Yeah,
taken in the Rule 5. Yes, I gotcha.
so they put him on the 40-man roster. Yeah.
Got
Um,
it. Okay, gotcha.
but but yeah, he
They
matched.
have been very active in that Rule 5, so I thought, yeah, never mind. I thought you were saying that he was a Rule 5 pick. They were worried about him being a Rule 5 pick and taken away.
Mhm. with Strom, he's been good in the
in his return.
chart so far. Um,
Yes,
yeah, and the starters have been good, like we've said. So the so far. Yeah, so we'll and we have a lot, 151 games left in the season, so still a lot of time. We've only played about 1/16 of the season uh
right.
so far.
Yep. And we haven't been swept, or they're not no like extended losing streak. So these are all like okay things for early
Yeah,
season. You're not,
yeah.
yeah, no reason to panic yet.
Not yet. Not yet. We'll see if there comes a reason to panic later.
Yeah.
Um,
And it is good too that nobody's like running away with the division. It's like if they're playing Cleveland right now. If the Royals end up winning the rubber game here, which would be tomorrow for us as we're recording this, they'd only be the Royals would only be a half game behind first place Cleveland,
yeah,
which
yeah.
is
So hope
not
that
something to
happens.
be super worried about
Not something to
either.
worry about. Um, yeah. So the other big sports story in the United States, at least, this past weekend was the Final Four for both the men's and women's Final Four. The NCAA tournaments wrapped up. I think going in, we had, I guess, maybe I don't know if it was surprise champions on both sides, but it was maybe not. It wasn't the most surprising, but it wasn't also not the overwhelming favorites that won. Neither you nor I and most of our brackets picked the correct winner. I ended up predicting the correct winner, UCLA, in one of my brackets on the
Mhm.
women's side, but none of us had Michigan winning, even though Michigan was consistently one of the top teams all year. I
Mhm.
think most rankings had Michigan being like either the second or third best team going into the tournament, and they
Yeah.
ended up winning. Um, but
It
neither
wasn't it
final,
wasn't enough for either of us or any of our brackets to pick Michigan to win.
no, and none of the expert brackets that we ended up having picked Michigan either. So it was
Mhm.
a little unusual. Um, but none of the Final Four games on either side were particularly close. Uh, it was sort of an anticlimactic Final Four on both sides.
Mhm.
I think the biggest story on either side was maybe the Connecticut South Carolina game where Gino Auriemma was upset at the end of the game with Don Staley for some reason, his
Yeah.
former protege, and when South Carolina defeated UConn for their first loss of the season in the semifinals, and then South Carolina got blown out by UCLA in the final. So it didn't really matter beating. I think you had before we went on the air, you said something about teams that beat UConn's women's team in the Gino Auriemma era in the tournament go something like 1-10 in the game
Yeah.
after um, playing UConn.
Yeah, it's kind of a crazy stat, right? Like there's some aura around UConn that if you beat them, like that was like kind of your championship game, and maybe they come out flat for the next one. That seems like that's been a trend, I guess, during the Oriema era. It's kind of impressive though, isn't it? I mean, you wouldn't think it would be that way, would you?
No, well, I guess you'd think. Well, you would say there's a couple reasons for that. Maybe it's psychological. You get over the hump against UConn. Maybe you aren't as into the other games because UConn's the biggest um,
Yeah,
going to play, or also maybe physically you're so tired after defeating UConn, you don't have as much in you the next couple of uh, couple of days later. So maybe it's
yeah.
something, but um, yeah, it's hard. Yeah, I don't know, or maybe UConn has some sort of voodoo hex that they place on teams that beat them in the
On
in
their
the
way
big.
on their way out. That's
Yeah.
possible.
I don't. Yeah, I tend to think it's probably the more of the so hyped up for UConn. We were such a high. We don't really pay attention to the next game quite as much. That's my guess.
Yeah,
It could just be coincidence because a lot of this because once you get into the upper echelons of the tournament, the games probably are more of a coin flip than they are in the lower rounds, especially for the women's teams. We have basically all good teams that are being played, and then
yeah,
one day one team will do well, and one day one team won't. So it just kind of coincidental, but who
yeah.
knows?
Well, especially on the women's side, like the early round games are really skewed towards the better, the lower number, the better higher seed.
Mhm.
Because they're actually playing like home games on their actual courts too, which is an advantage for sure for
Do they still do that in the women's bracket?
yeah, because Iowa State's women's team was in UConn's pod, and they if they had won the first game, which they did not, they would have had to play UConn at UConn.
Hmm.
So, but if you're a one or a two seed, then or three or four even, then that's a pretty big advantage
Yeah.
being on your actual home floor, you would think. Not just a regional performance, but you know, on your home court, not just nearby.
Yeah. Yeah. That's and Yeah, it's one of those things where I think it seems also at least the good players are concentrated more in the top teams than they are in the men's, at least traditionally in the men's tournament. Maybe now
Yeah.
with money, there are certain I'm not exactly sure how teams will be able to pay their players and things like that. So it might be concentrated more or it might be more diluted in terms of if any team can get a really big star player for NIL money, but those that the amounts that are being paid, that's kind of everybody's kind of in the dark about it, so it's hard to say.
Right.
And teams and so many players are transferring every year, it seems like now. So
Hmm.
it's kind of the Wild West at this point.
Well, and you also see too, like there, certain coaches may be the driving force. So, like, if a team that isn't a traditional powerhouse like St. John's or Arkansas, but they
Mhm.
have these high-powered coaches that have a history of being able to be, big recruiters, then, you're actually seeing higher NIL funds being, siphoned to players at places like that you
Yeah,
don't typically see. So you can see you're probably going to see, teams that have money doing better in tournaments in the long run than you would expect for others. I think that's probably how Kansas was good for a long time. They were secretly
oh, you
playing
think
players.
they're playing players under the table? I see.
Yes.
Your anti-Kansas sentiment has
Yeah.
come out.
Yes. I think the Kansas era is done now though. So I think there's no way for them to cheat by paying players anymore. So it's not going to be they're not going to be the same powerhouse anymore. I think I'm fairly confident the Kansas era of dominance in the Big 12 is done. It's my
Well, there's so many more teams in the Big 12 now too, and you brought
that
Arizona.
helps as well.
Houston's been really good lately. Baylor has had some really solid years. They won a national championship a few years ago.
Yeah,
Um, and it's possible that the Big 12 will expand further and bring in teams like UConn or some other powerhouses. Uh,
yeah. Do you
but
think they would go after a UConn? Is that on the table? Is that something they're looking to do? The
well,
Big
I
12 is a
think
pretty good basketball conference. It wouldn't be a bad idea, honestly. Is that something that's being discussed?
they had discussed, I think, UConn as a potential. Uh, I think the football team is not is the problem is the football team's not quite good enough. Um,
Yeah,
but the basket, I think they would. They've been linked to the Big 12 before.
Yeah,
Uh, um, and but maybe but I could see them trying to get UConn into the
yeah.
um
Bring them into the conference.
into the conference. Yeah.
Do you think we're done shuffling with the conferences for a little while, or do you think it's just getting
No,
started?
like not. I would guess it's still gonna shuffle around. Um, Especially because all this NIL money and more maybe more teams will try to merge into into the conferences, especially they might say like something like the Big 12, which is either it's either the third or the fourth best conference at this point in terms of overall sports. You think the SEC and the Big Ten are one and two in some ranking. Maybe the Big Ten it seems like now is with championships in both basketball and um, football and men's and women's basketball this past year has maybe moved into the number one slot above the SEC. But you could see maybe the ACC and the Big 12 trying to get more teams, maybe just as a kind of bulk, uh, get some of the in basketball, get some of the Big East teams or something like that. Because
Yeah.
so I don't know. I could see still things moving around a bit, but the conferences now are so big. Um,
You wouldn't think that they'd want to get any bigger than they currently are, unless they go to like a full two division
Yeah, unless they
schedule kind of thing.
go to 24 or something, or yeah, right now they're each seem at 16 or bigger. Um,
Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah, it's
it's a
well,
little
it's like
crazy.
the scheduling, it makes it not really meaningful, right? Especially like in football, you're only going to play nine
Yeah, you
conference
play
games.
half the teams, if
So I
that.
mean, if you're at like an 18 conference, 18 to 20 team, like you can only play like one of the divisions in football if there's two
Yeah.
divisions. And then you wouldn't play anyone from the other division, or you'd play some of each. Like, but I mean, I don't know what you really get. Like, how is it meaningful? How would you rank the teams versus each other if they don't have like common opponents across the season, even within your own conference? That seems difficult to like tease out like who's actually good
Yeah.
from a regular 10 to 12 game season. 10 game to 9 to 10 games in the conference and then two or three outside the conference, so something like that, right?
Uh-huh. Yeah, it's a weird um situation, but yeah, we'll see what happens with it. I
Yeah.
think things calm down at some point, but right now I think it's still pretty volatile.
uh,
Um, Maybe yeah, or maybe things have. I don't really I haven't really followed the read the tea leaves or anything like that, but there
I mean,
still
it
are a
seems
few.
like they're expanding the football tournament
Yeah.
soon. So like that's not done expanding.
Hmm.
It's going to be closer to a basketball tournament size soon. Right?
Yeah.
Yeah, because they're already at 12. Yeah, is what the next year is going to be. Is that something like that?
Yeah, they're 12 this there've been 12 this year in
Yeah,
the tournament the last couple of years in football.
yeah.
I don't know how many they were thinking of expanding to I don't know.
24 or something, I think is what there was. I think there's a proposal for something like that.
Yeah, expand to 16. So it's locked into 12 teams at 2026, but discussions are to go to 16 or 24.
I knew there was a proposal for 24, and that seems like a lot.
Yeah, the Big Ten detailed a 2014 plan with no league title games.
Yeah. Oh, okay. So they'd eliminate conference championships.
Yeah,
But that's I don't know. I like the conference championship concept. At least you know who
is the winner of the conference.
wins the conference because there's an actual game to decide it.
Yeah,
So but you also don't want your, college kids to play like a full NFL season number of games.
No, but it's a lot of money, so I don't know. It
Yeah, which is the driving force behind all of
yeah.
this, essentially. If there's an opportunity to add another game, you're not going to turn down extra money, extra ad revenue, are you?
No, I would say 16 makes more sense to me than because I don't like the buy. It seems like the teams that have the buys actually do worse, and then the teams that have the buys they also don't get that home game in their stadium that brings
Yeah,
them money that they might get. So I think getting them more of a not really a cupcake team to play, but a team that's not as maybe as highly seeded uh,
yeah.
at home would be a good warm up for them. So I could see 16 would be make more sense than 24, just because I think the
Mhm.
buys have proven at least so far to be detrimental rather than helpful
I
for.
think the last two seasons was it like the teams were like
Yeah, the only team
7?
only one team has won after
Yeah,
coming off the bye, and that's Indiana this year. Uh,
this season who ended up,
yeah, winning the whole
yeah,
thing.
winning it
Uh,
all. Yeah, but the other, I think 7 teams, right, that were coming off of a bye, all lost in their like
yeah,
original bowl game appearance, which was not at their own
yeah,
home field.
they lost the first round game, not just didn't make it into the championship. They actually lost their first round.
Right.
So, maybe if that happens again, maybe they would be consider and do 16 rather than 24. I'd rather see 6.
I wonder if the 16 is it actually number one plays number 16, or is it still having like buys
I
like the
hope it's
double
one
like the
place.
weird.
I hope it's one place 16 rather than the double bye kind of
I mean
system.
the 24 obviously is going to have buys associated with it because that's not a direct number to
I think
for
you want
play-ins.
I think you want the bracket because that's made the NCAA tournament basketball tournament so exciting as the 64 team bracket.
Right.
Even though they try to kind of add the 68 teams in the play-in games and stuff like that, but really what people want is that bracket that they can make and they can sort of have around the office and do the pools and then do that brings a lot of interest in the tournament. So I think the 16 team bracket
Right.
would so either 16 or 32 is what you have to do, I think, for football. I don't think
Yeah.
30 because they do 32 in I think it's in the uh lower divisions. I think there are 32 teams in the playoffs. Um,
Right.
so I
I
think
don't
you
think you don't think you want like the NCAA or like the Big 12 basketball tournaments like double by
no, you don't want that at all.
scenario, which is how they do the 16 team tournament,
Yeah,
not one versus
that's
16s.
because you play games back to back to back, and they want to
Yeah,
reward teams and not make them play 4 games in 4 days if
yeah.
they're a good team. But I don't. Yeah,
But that makes for like an ugly bracket that isn't easy to
yeah,
pass around and share and
yeah.
have fun getting into the pools, that kind of stuff. Yeah, like you're mentioning as being part of the draw for the tournaments.
Hmm.
Yeah,
Well,
yeah.
yeah. So we have in certain terms of playoffs, we have hockey and the NBA coming to the end of their regular seasons in the next week or two. There'll be playoff brackets for both and the NHL and the NBA coming up at the end of April, mid to late April. We have the NFL draft coming up, so we have a lot of things to look forward to in the next couple of weeks. Is there anything else you wanted to talk about before we signed off on this Power
Hmm.
Hour episode?
Yeah, we do tend to make some bets, so that'll bring back our betting competition though with the NHL and
The
NBA
NHL and the
playoffs.
NBA, yeah, we could make some bets
Yeah,
in the playoffs. Right,
yeah.
it's like at least at first it was going to be Oklahoma City was going to run away with everything, but I'm not sure uh, they aren't the team that they didn't run away with it like it seemed like they were going to.
I
Uh,
know.
Spurs have
I haven't
been,
followed the NBA quite as closely this year. Well, I think Detroit's a pretty good team. Boston seems like they're getting healthy at the right time.
yeah.
Oklahoma City is the number one overall
See,
team
but
by record.
The Spurs are pretty close though.
They are pretty
Uh,
close.
they've won, yeah, and Denver and the Lakers are probably going to have something to say about it as well. So
Yeah.
uh, yeah, it'll be interesting. See what happens. Although uh, Luka Doncic has been he was injured, wasn't he?
Yeah, I think the last thing I heard was that he's going to Europe for treatment on his big hamstring injury,
Hamstring. Yeah, that's a little
which
strange.
can be nagging, but maybe he can get better treatment there than what he has access to here in the US, perhaps.
I don't know. At least that he's more comfortable with, I guess.
Uh,
Maybe there's more experimental techniques there. I'm not sure what the
I don't know. Treatments that they do there that they don't do here. Or maybe it's just about the health insurance.
health insurance. Yeah, and we'll see.
He's just very thrifty and does not want to pay American health insurance rates.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know. Maybe he doesn't trust the team doctors. I'm not sure, but yeah, we'll see. We'll see how that turns out. He's supposed to be back by the playoffs, but um, yeah, we'll see how the seeding ends up turning out for the Lakers. So they've been a solid team this year. The last couple of years, it seems like they've been struggling just to even make the playoffs. Uh, so this year's that's at least a better sign for them.
Yeah.
Um,
And we'll get to have the debate again in the NHL about whether you'll be rooting for a Canadian team or a warm weather hockey city to win the
well,
championship this year.
you'll probably be rooting for a warm weather city because you like the
Just to torture you.
yes, I want a Canadian team to win. Although the teams right now, um,
Only one Canadian team has clinched a playoff spot as of now, although at least one other team will for sure get in. Edmonton has not clinched, but they will. They're in first place in their division, so they will likely get in,
yeah,
barring some collapse.
yeah, and then the Canadians are the Canadian team that's clinched a playoff spot in the Atlantic
Yes.
Division. Um, but yeah, it's yeah, we'll see what happens with the NHL. Um, right now, I think the top team seems to be the Avalanche in terms of,
Mhm.
but very often the President's Trophy does not go to the Stanley Cup. The Stanley Cup winner does not go into the President's Trophy and the Stanley Cup. That's not usually what happens. There's usually more chaos in the playoffs. Um, but yeah, we'll see what happens with them. The Tampa Bay is good again this year. The Carolina Hurricanes are good again. Um, the Florida Panthers, surprisingly, the back-to-back champions, are not going to make the playoffs uh,
They have been eliminated officially,
this year. Um, so,
as have the Leafs. Not the Leaves, but the Leafs, Mike.
yeah,
I'm sure one of your favorite grammatical
Maple Leafs. I like the yeah.
team names, right?
I don't mind. Yeah, they can be called that. It's not the Chiefs. It's the Chiefs. The F sound has a. It's more of a solid. It's got more of a tough ring to it. Chiefs got a crisper tone, I guess, is what they're going for. Um,
Yes. Yeah. Right. I
so
still I still think your name your if your family has a get together, it should be the plural of man to men
we're men family.
instead of women's, it's we're men,
Yeah, it's
right?
hard. But it sounds the same though. We're men.
Right.
'Cause you don't say we're man and we're men.
Maybe you'll have to just to make sure that everyone knows what you're talking about, though, just to
like
be
like
sure.
the Lord of the Rings, the Proudfoots, the Proudfoots to
Yeah,
the Proud Feet.
proud feet. Yes, would become that. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, we'll have to talk about that off the air.
Yes.
But yeah, we have all that to look forward to the next couple of weeks. Um, should we sign off on this week's episode of the Power Hour?
Sure.
As always, I'm Dr. Michael Lerman. He's Dr. Andrew Scaff. We are the Morning Track Power Hour. Please like or subscribe to our YouTube channel and or our podcast, available on many different podcast delivery platforms. So we appreciate your listenership, your viewership. We hope that you continue to tune in to the Morning Track Power Hour in the coming weeks as we talk more and more Major League Baseball, more and more about the NFL draft, more and more about the NL, ML, NHL and NBA playoffs. Maybe we'll get into previewing some of the World Cup action as we get closer to that in the next couple of months.
Oh.
Um, yeah, the USA uh, is playing Turkey as the recent qualifiers in Europe. That was probably the worst bracket the USA could have ended up with. Uh,
Hmm.
Turkey ended up being one of the late qualifiers. Italy actually didn't make it. They lost out to Bosnia. So Italy, I think, has missed three straight World Cups now, uh, after being a champion for so many times. So at least we're
Right.
not in Italy right now. But um,
I think we had to qualify for this one, didn't we? As a host.
I think that we automatically made it. So yeah, it's the USA, Paraguay, Australia, and Turkey are in their group of the group. So that's actually a fairly tough group, I think, because none of the teams are that terrible. Australia is not that good usually. Paraguay is probably one of the not best South American teams, but they're still a South American team. If you look at Canada's group,
Yeah.
uh, they have a much easier draw.
Hmm.
Canada, Bosnia, Qatar, and Switzerland. Switzerland's
Hmm.
a decent team, but that four is probably much. Turkey is probably at least as good as Switzerland, um, and Australia and Paraguay are probably better than Qatar and Bosnia
Hmm.
Herzegovina. I would say. Um,
It doesn't sound that bad, though. Really, I mean, they didn't get stuck with any of the powerhouse countries, though, too.
yeah, they ended up
It's
getting
not
a.
it's not the group of death. I, mean, I don't know which group it is this year. That's the group of death, but
Let's see.
it doesn't
Oh,
sound like it's the US's bracket, the US's pod.
um, Group one, it says maybe. Um,
France, Senegal, Norway.
yeah, France. Oh, it's got Iraq and Norway though, so no, probably not. France and
So
Norway.
nobody's that
No,
disadvantaged.
no.
I guess Group L is England, Croatia, Ghana, and Panama.
It was Group I guess, not Group one. Group
Yeah,
I.
not the Roman numeral one,
Yeah.
but Group I.
And not Roman numeral 50.
Yes. Maybe it is. Maybe it is Group 1 and Group 50. There's that many teams in this World Cup.
Yeah, so it's basically two teams will make it, and a third team possibly making it into the round of 32.
Yeah,
Uh, 12 groups, 48 teams. Top two makes 24, and then eight of the 12 third place teams are going to make it. So,
yeah,
into and again, they're doing a knockout stage with 32. They're not doing any buys or anything like that in soccer that they
right.
with NCAA football. Although, again, maybe having buys would make it more fair. Um, or at least not
Yeah.
more fair, maybe less chaotic. But I think they like the chaos in the World Cup. Uh,
Yeah. Well, at least in the knockout phase, like you have to win the game too. It can't end in a tie.
no, but a lot of times the games end in those penalty kick shootouts, which are pretty lame, I
Yeah.
think. It's
Yeah.
exciting when it happens, but like a lame
It's good
way
for
to
TV.
it's a lame way to determine a winner, I think. Um,
You don't think like the NBA should go to like a free throw shooting contest if the game's tied after overtime?
no, no, no. I
Or
want to keep. I want
they've
to keep
talked about baseball doing like a home run contest. They did that in the All Star game
Yeah, I
a
like
few
it
years
better.
ago.
I would like it better, like in hockey when they go to fewer players on the
Yeah,
field.
3 on 3 for the
Yeah,
overtime,
if they
an
go,
abbreviated overtime period.
yeah, if they like if the longer the overtime goes, the fewer players would be on the field. So maybe do a 7-on-7 or something like that, or um,
Yeah, to
no
open
goal.
the field up, make it a little more
Yeah, or no
faster.
goalkeepers, something like that would be
Yeah,
a way to um, again, and things a little better. You get players play back in the goal, but then they couldn't use their hands or
yeah,
something. So that might be a little more interesting. But I don't think they'll do that. I think
probably not gonna do
they'll
that.
keep the overtime period, the golden goal period, and or they don't have the golden goal anymore. It was just it's
Oh
overtime,
yeah, they play an extra full period. Yeah,
extra 30 minutes, 15 minutes on each side. So.
yeah,
But yeah, we'll have all that to look forward to in coming weeks. Um, so keep an eye out on the Warning Trek Power Hour, your favorite sports podcast slash YouTube channel, and we'll keep you informed into all the developments around the world of sports. Um, and so I won't re-close this episode, but we will say thanks for watching the Warning Trek Power Hour. We appreciate your patronage, and we hope that you make this weekend if you're making bets, they come out well. We aren't really making any bets this weekend, so we don't have any uh, interests going forward. So you can bet to your heart's content and not worry about conflicting with our interests because we don't have any interest right now. Other than I guess we wouldn't want you to bet against the Royals every game because we would support the Royals.
Super
But
Bowl might be good
yeah,
money, but
I'd be good.
that's not nice.
Yeah, not nice. You want to be
Not
kind. Please be kind to Michael
not
Werman, Andrew Scott.
nice. Yeah.
So, again, for all of us at the One Trick Power Hour, we thank you for your listenership, your viewership, your patronage, and we wish you a good day.